Hello, everybody. We are back today on another Tuesday with a special episode of Cultivating Conversations with DP². And I'm your host, DeAndre, with my lovely co-host.
Deja. Hey, y'all.
And today, first of all, I want to say before I get started, thank you everyone who's going to join live. Thank you for everyone who's going to drop a comment, who likes a TikTok, who likes a reel, who's going to watch after the podcast is posted. Thanks for all the support these past few episodes. It's been awesome. Thank you to all the guests who have been on here these past few weeks. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to Ishua.
Yeah, I think, like Isua. I think they pronounce it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Thank you to them for coming on the podcast and dropping some knowledge and gems. And today, luckily enough, we have another guest, but we'll get into that in a second. Deja, how have you been?
I've been good. I'm trying to think. Oh, I submitted a big portion of my page. Well, I'm not gonna say big. It's 30 pages. Only submitted 4.
Okay.
But I've been making progress. So I've been happy with that. And let's see. Anything else? Everything else has been good. I'm looking forward to Juneteenth. Maybe we can get to some festivities. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But hey, to Dana. So yeah, I'm good. But how are you? How you been?
Yeah, I've been well. Feeling good. The weather has been iffy, but I've been getting out, doing some things with friends, and just finals been on, watching sports. NHL's been on, so I think it's just been nice, kind of getting out of school, ready to get back on that grind. But so far, I've been doing very well.
That's good. I'm glad, and I know they probably tired of hearing us. Well, I guess they're probably not tired of hearing us yet, because it is our podcast, but we got other voices so that people can get other perspectives. Yes. So I'm really excited for this guest. And a lot of people actually, even when we had when she was on last time, so many people was like, oh my God, I loved her so much, or I learned so many things and stuff. So I'm glad that we were able to bring her back. So we're going to have Krystle again. If you guys remember, she talked a lot about women's health and the body, and her doula work and just birthing and all the things, women's health. So we want to have her on again. So let me bring Krystle up. Hey, Krystle.
I'm back.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm excited to be back. Yay.
Yes. We're excited. I know today's conversation is going to be a little different from last time, but I wanted to ask just first, got any updates on yourself? How you been professionally, personally? What's been going on since the last time?
When was the last time? It
was a while ago.
It was 2018. My concept of time is just since 2018.
I don't even know. It's been a while.
I think the last birth I had was in September, and I've been mostly in the postpartum streets, in the postpartum doula, dabbling into the postpartum here and there. It's a lot to me, you're not on call. So when Uber Eats texts you at 2 a.m., you're not jumping up. It's somebody going into labor and not Uber Eats saying, hey, da-da-da-da. So yeah, being on the call, I never sleep well. I always have this elaborate dream where I miss the labor and all that, and then I wake up and so
yeah,
I'm in the postpartum streets.
That's
so I've been in the postpartum and things like that. All those good things. Of course, always in the education street. That's where I'm at. So
yeah,
all that and dealing with all the stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Yes. And I know, so the title of this episode is called I'm Going Through Changes, but I know when we had a conversation maybe a month ago, we were talking about what's some things that is happening that we should discuss that maybe a lot of people aren't really talking about or know a lot about, and things that you're very passionate about. So, but first I want to just ask, could you break down a little bit what hormonal health means? One, because I really don't know, but two, when you think of that, what are the areas that you kind of are interested in, or you focus a lot on when you think about those words?
Well, we talk about hormones, we're talking about women. Men, as far as hormonal health, they just have to worry about if their testosterone is right, because testosterone would affect, Mr. Downstairs, or even some men with low testosterone, they might not have facial hair. Or I've seen, and I always call it out, I was like, he's got some excess estrogen because his man boobs look like boobs and not like I could because it looks like a breast and not like I've gained weight and I have a dad bod. It's, to me, I can tell the difference. Like his estrogen might be a little up.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So for us as women, it's a list. Like even some doctors who are not in the women's health space, they're like, I don't know nothing about women's hormones. And so like for us, we've got estrogen, of course. We've got testosterone. But when our testosterone is higher than our estrogen, then you have women with PCOS. Polycystic ovary syndrome. So some of those symptoms of PCOS, some of those women don't have menstrual cycles every month. So that's a hormonal health. If your hormones are not correct, you're not going to have your menstrual cycle every month. Some women with PCOS, and I'm a PCOS, they call it sister. So for me, I have excess estrogen. So I have too much estrogen. If you look on the other side, I'm having some hair missing. So some will lose their hair. A lot of women will get mustache, beard. I've seen like some women.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That's PCOS. Some won't get their cycles. So all that hormonal stuff plays into our health. So our A1C, that's our sugar. So some people refer to PCOS as diabetes of the ovaries because most people with PCOS have my words are slipping me right now. My sugar, diabetes, insulin resistant. So for me, I'm insulin resistant. So you'll see me, I'll look like an old lady. I'm like, that's too much sugar in there. That's gonna raise my sugar. That's gonna spike my blood sugar. So those things, like with women, a lot of our health can be determined by how our menstrual cycle looks. Sometimes women's testosterone could be too low and it could make them like tired. Thyroid, your thyroid could be hyperactive and you're losing a lot of weight, or it could be hypo and you're not doing enough. So I suffer from hypoactive thyroid.
How do you find this stuff out? Do people just kind of have
blood test?
Oh, okay.
Blood test. So for me, I was like, hey, my cycles are really heavy, help. But I realized this wasn't the norm. My gynecologist is a hormone menopause guru. So all the labs she was doing, that's not what my friends are getting at their labs. So when she looked at my lab, she was like, "Ooh, girl, your labs are saying this. Let's do some of this." Especially like with thyroid. My mom had thyroid cancer. So since I was 19, going to doctors on my own, my thyroid has always been checked. A1C should always get looked at. That's sugar. Seeing what it's the percentage of sugar in your blood in the last 3 months, right? So getting your A1C checked, because you could be insulin resistant or you could have pre-diabetes.
And can you request that? Like, can you, because
my women's exam, when I went to my woman exam, she did my A1C and she did my cholesterol.
Okay.
It was a part of my wellness visit, right? So cholesterol, stuff like that. Because how old are you guys?
22.
I'm 27.
Yeah. So when I was 27, that's when I started looking at labs, almost at 30. And then I make a joke that at 30, God pressed the button, everything just went to crap.
Oh my God. And is there that's what I've heard. There's just like everything just starts changing. And are there ways, I guess, because with me, I always just try to like fix everything holistically, but are there ways that some people who are experiencing the different hormonal imbalances or what it might be, like, are there things that people can do about? Okay. Yeah.
So my I went in March. And so my doctor's nurse, she's like, hey, good news is your labs do not show that you have PCOS anymore. And I was like, I did it.
Wow,
So
that's good.
there's so many things. And one of the things with hormonal health that people don't realize, and I guess I'll get into that more about menopause, but the food we eat, there's a lot of foods that can cause endocrine disruptors, like disrupt our, like, I hate to say it, and I cried, your Bath and Body Works candles, that fragrance.
Wait, stop.
That fragrance, messes with your hormones. Perfume, hormones. Your bath soap, Bath and Body Works, messes with your hormones.
This messing up my whole identity right now.
No. So I'm gonna put you on. There's an app called Yuka, and you can scan YUKA. It looks like a little carrot. Okay. And you can scan different things and it'll tell you like what's in it and if it's good or bad. And then it tells you why. So it'll be like, oh no, this has da 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 da. And so I have a dietitian and she's like, anything with fragrance, don't get it, because what fragrance? What are you talking about? It just says fragrance. When I eat now, it's meat, vegetables, some dairy like Greek yogurt, full butter, but like the Kerrygold organic butter. And
don't tell me rice. If you say rice, I'm having.
Okay, so rice might not be a problem for you. It's a problem for me because grains. People don't know that carbs, when they're digested, turn into sugar.
Right. I remember you talking about that.
Rice is going to spike my blood sugar, so I do not eat rice. Then you would eat small portions of rice. I would eat more vegetables than rice. And then you have, I always say this word, cruciferous vegetables. So for me, the cruciferous vegetables, like the broccoli, the kale, that helps aid your liver, because our liver is how we get rid of excess androgens or whatever. PCOS girlies, if you're suffering from like the unwanted facial hair, spearmint tea, heavy periods, red raspberry leaf tea. I actually take a tincture from Elix and you answer questions based on your symptoms, and they make a custom traditional Chinese medicine blend for you. I'm not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But if you would like to, because they're $40 a bottle. Oh, wow. And then there's another pill that I take called My Happy Flow. That is a Black owned vitamin brand, My Happy Flow. They have some good things in there to help you with that. I always tell people to look at your blood work first before you just start throwing vitamins at yourself. Because because people are like, oh, I need to take this. But if you're sitting there taking a vitamin D, whatever vitamin, but you are at normal levels at vitamin D, now you have excess vitamin D and it might cause a problem. To where it becomes toxic, right? So my dietitian and my doctor, it's like, I'm taking these vitamins. Are these okay? These are my prescriptions. Do these interact with each other? So a lot of people there, I see this a lot on TikTok. And it's like, take this. But I'm like, you don't need to take it.
Right. And I know real quick, I know that like with DeAndre being on here, and some men on here might be like, what
true.
Why is this relevant to me? What is this, a girls chat? Like what are some ways that they, because of being aware of these things, can they better be supportive, or does this affect them in any kind of way to know this information? Like, what do you think?
If you plan to have a wife or you have a sister, it's going to affect them one day. Like I mentioned earlier, like your testosterone could be messed up and there are signs, but a lot of men, we don't talk about that, right? Because they only deal with that one hormone. Your thyroid could be messed up too. You could be gaining weight, losing weight. So that's important just to recognize, like, hey, I'm losing my hair and my dad or mom didn't lose their hair, so what's going on? Like this little stuff, because it could be something that's wrong. I see it a lot and I get so pissed off. I see like trainers on social media and they're like, it's calories in, calories off. No, it's not. Not with hormones. Because I could literally, because I have high cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which it was proven by my doctor. If I sat there and ran a mile, my body's in fight or flight, I'm going to gain weight.
Wow. I never
because it's scaring my body to think it's something. So for me, I do better with walks or slow weights. That's what I do for my workout. I could eat nothing and gain weight versus eat, because it's all hormonal. Right? So I have insulin resistance, because that can happen to anybody, especially if you have diabetes in your family. It starts off with insulin resistance, then it turns to pre-diabetes if it's not checked, and then you got diabetes if it's unchecked. So those hormones and all that affects you too.
Do men experience something like a midlife, like menopause?
I always say men have their periods, so why not? I was like, so why not? I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't say.
What
But I feel like during that time where they call it a midlife crisis, it's your body changing, whether it's hormonally or not. And like menopause, like there's so many things that, hey, this is a menopause symptom that people don't realize it's a menopause symptom.
Yeah, that is true. I know. Well, because you had seen, I know you were looking because people might think that like, it's just, well, menopause is for women, but I'm saying when you were like doing research, is there something similar?
Yeah, it's kind of like what she is kind of talking about the testosterone levels going up or down. Yeah, go up or down. It's like men have something called andropause, which I guess it's kind of the same thing.
It stops.
Yeah, it can cause like some of the symptoms that menopause cause, like hot flashes for men. It can cause erectile dysfunction, like loss of hair, like she said. So yeah, so I guess it kind of, it's not the same as menopause, but it's just that midlife kind of transition.
You probably don't even know that's taking place. But true. I did want to mention, my mom was actually just started reading a book about menopause that I think when Oprah did a special, or she did something. I'm not sure.
Gynecologist was on that Oprah special.
Your gynecologist, you said?
Well, I don't know which one, but it was a special years ago. She was on that. She was on that. One of the specials on there. So
that's really cool. Yeah, because I know my mom was like trying to learn more about it because she's experiencing that. But what for people who don't know, and honestly, I read like he said, all I always hear, that's hot flashes. But what is that? What is it like? I know it's like perimenopause and menopause, but what exactly?
Oh, perimenopause is like the prep, like you're going into it. So usually women start having perimenopause late 30s, 40s, and then the average age for Black women, I wrote that down, was 49 to go through menopause. So let's talk about what menopause is. It's not just all those symptoms, right? Yeah. Because I was seeing all these 60-year-olds on TikTok being pregnant, and I was like, what?
Oh, wow.
Why y'all still bleeding?
Hold
on. Because people have menopause babies all the time. Because what happens is menopause is official when you have a consecutive year with no menstrual cycle. So say if you went 9 months and then all of a sudden you get a menstrual cycle, you're not like, it starts over.
Oh, wow.
You're just irregular. So that's how kind of perimenopause starts. You start, sometimes some people become irregular, like their periods just pop up, pop in.
So women out here who y'all think y'all might have menopause, don't you try it.
Like, oh yeah, I had a period in 4 months. I went through menopause. Oh my God, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. With twins. Yeah.
Oh no.
God, the older you are, the more at risk you are for having twins, because your body's like, get these eggs out, get these eggs out, get these eggs out. And so that's why you see a lot of older women have twins.
Oh wow.
Because your body's like, get these eggs out. It's time.
Oh goodness. Is it like, so I know you were talking about, so what are some of the symptoms that people might not know is related to menopause that is? Because I think some of the ones we already know about are pretty common, but what are some
flashes, right? What else you got?
Well, you got one, DeAndre? Let me think.
Mood swings.
There we go.
Irregular sleep.
Okay. And so sometimes with that irregular sleep, you get night sweats. So you wake up in the middle of the night and you'll be drenched. And that happens postpartum too, right? You've got joint pain because our estrogen helps lubricate our bones. That's why like some birth controls or some medicines that stop your period, they say joint pain, because our estrogen is what kind of gives our bones like that mobility. And so some women will even get frozen shoulder. My mom's dealing with that, and she's past menopause. She hadn't had a period in a long time. My shoulder. And I was like, you need to take you a little gummy or something.
Yeah.
a little vitamin D gummy, because that's happened. I talked about irregular periods, brain fog. You're just like, I get that a lot and I hate it. I was like, what was I going with this? I would start talking. Would you ask me? Or what else I got?
How early does it start for some people? I know you said the average age for Black women, but
so it can start from the mid 30s to early 40s, but it depends on family history and things like that.
Okay.
So like if your mom went through menopause at like 37, you're possibly going to go through menopause at 36.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like you kind of based it off kind of your mom and your grandma and stuff, both sides. But usually the 40s is when peri starts to show its way. But if you have a parent or grandmother or whoever, someone in your family that went through it early, there's a possibility that you could go through it early too.
Can you real quick talk about maybe some of the mental health struggles like anxiety, depression?
So you got anxiety, depression, but anger. A lot of people don't talk about anger. I'm in a perimenopause group and they're like, I hate my husband. I want to gotta go. And he has done nothing that he's never done before. But it's just like rage.
Wow.
Anger that people don't go through. And so a lot of people don't realize that, hey, these are menopausal symptoms. Somebody was like, oh, depression, but they're thinking they're just depressed, but you're depressed because your hormones are changing and it's an imbalance. So now you're depressed. So sometimes that could be fixed with psychiatric meds, or it can be fixed with hormone replacement therapy. Like, okay, your estrogen's a little down. We're going to give you a little bit of estrogen by mouth. So it might even you out. Right.
Yeah.
It's those things of, I like that we're talking about it because it's like, oh crap, I'm recognizing it. Okay. Am I depressed because I'm depressed, or am I depressed because my hormones are not together?
Right.
So I would say you can go to your GYN. Hey, can you do a full panel hormone blood test on me? Or you can go to an endocrinologist and have the same thing done to see where you are.
Nice.
To see, because sometimes it can tell you like, oh, your estrogen has dropped. So yeah, your labs are showing, hey, you're slowly going into menopause or things like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I think is. Oh, you want to say something, DeAndre?
No, I was going to ask, do you recommend hormonal replacement therapy?
It's not one size fit all. That would be something you do with your doctor, because some women who have like breast cancer histories, they're not candidates for HRT.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's plenty of like vitamins and stuff. Like I know Black Girl Vitamins now has a menopause gummy.
I heard about them.
There's so many like gummies. So before you take like herbs and stuff, like I do recommend like you check with your physician, like, hey, if this is safe. Because if you're taking cholesterol medicine and you take something else and they interfere.
Yeah.
I think I saw a menopause tea at the Asian market the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's why I think you brought a couple of good points. Is like, one, because sometimes when people go to the doctor, they don't always know exactly what to ask, and so then you're like, yeah, I'm good, everything's been good, okay, yeah, I've been eating okay, but these are specific questions.
I've gained 30 pounds in 2 months,
and it's like, yeah, and so just I think I always feel like that's your time to shine. Like when you go to your doctor's appointment, it's your time, so you need to ask all the things and.
A list in my phone.
Yes, me too. I'm like, and another thing. She's like, that's it. No, that's not it. Actually, I got more stuff.
Did I ask this? Because it's so easy to get that white coat syndrome, and you get there and you're like, yeah, I'm good, and then you get in the car.
Right.
I didn't ask about da 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 da. Yes. I always, every appointment. You got anything else? Actually. Did you? Okay.
Yeah. And it's like you also said too, that's why I think it's important for mothers and grandmothers or whatever to really talk about the things they're experiencing, because then their daughters or whoever they'll know what questions to ask. Like you said, a lot of stuff when it comes to the hormonal things is like you're saying, look to see what your mom went through, or your grandma, whoever, but if they aren't sharing it, then you kind of
change. So that's it was like, oh, she's going through the change.
Right.
I watched Golden Girls growing up, and I remember when Blanche was going through the change, but she thought she was pregnant. And then she cried and she was like, I'm going through menopause. And everybody's like, oh, no. And she like just had an attitude about it.
Yes.
Now, like our generations are like, hey, are your ears itching too? Because that's a sign that your ears are itching. Me too. So a lot of people feel like alone and crazy or super wrong, but it's because our mothers, they were like, you don't talk to nobody about that. You don't talk to a period and mixed company. You don't. So it's like, well, how do I know?
Yeah, and of course, Happy Pride Month. But if people are in a heterosexual relationship and they are with a woman, like say when DeAndre's older and he's with someone who's going through these things, how can partners be supportive of someone who is experiencing these changes that they can't really necessarily you can't control it in a sense.
I would say support, you know. So I see it in the group. Oh, I almost divorced my husband 6 times. And it's like nothing he's done out of the ordinary. They're just angry and just being understanding, like, hey, it's not, that's not you. And just making sure, like, maybe they helping them see, like, hey, let's go to your doctor. Maybe, like, let's help. Let's see if you can get on some hormone replacement therapy. Let me make you some tea.
Yeah.
This menopausal tea. When's the last time you got your hormones looked at? It's kind of like when you're bringing with a pregnant partner and a pregnant person's like yelling at you and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Look, okay. So yeah, and just understanding, because with the men, especially, it's like, oh, you know, if you eat less, you lose weight. Not hormonally. That's why you see like a lot of people in menopause, they'll gain weight too because your hormones are off.
Yeah.
And it's all in the midsection. So that's why you see the aunties, they got a little stomach because
not the aunties.
The aunties.
Yeah.
I think I'm an auntie now, but
that's so real. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like first of all, when you talked about the candles, I think I've been my head's
no, let me hold you. I didn't hold your hand.
You right. So I'm going through that right now. But no, that is so people don't understand how much stuff affects us. Yeah.
Like lotions, perfumes, foods, like the chemicals in the food. Like I was drinking this Premier Protein and my dietitian goes, turn it over, read it. And I was like, she's like, you know what that is? I was like, no. She was like, so why are you putting it in your body?
Yeah.
That's
what I'm gonna start saying. Because you know, I am, and they hate this about me. Everyone hates this about me.
That's me. I'm their friend. It's okay.
But I am the number one fan of a filet of fish meal. I'm sorry. And I don't even know what's in that.
I like filet of fish too. No, one time I was going to get a chicken sandwich from McDonald's and I read the ingredients. Why I got 30 ingredients and why one of them is rib meat? It's chicken.
Shouldn't be eating McDonald's anyways.
Why does the French fries have like a 30 ingredient list?
Yeah, that doesn't
it should be salt, potatoes. The chips I eat are salt, olive oil, and potatoes. We're not even going to talk about seed oil and gut health yet.
That's going to be that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, before I ask my other question, well, Darren, did you have one before?
No, I think answer everything. Yeah.
Comments on the side. Like, did I?
Yeah, no.
Advocate for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Like definitely, like you said, if someone else said that you have to advocate for yourself for sure. I think this episode, people will have a lot to leave with because it's like after this, I feel it's kind of one of those things where it's do your homework in the sense of, okay, you got some action items. Think about
your body.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
How you interact with things, because what might work for Krystle's body might not work for Deja's body.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a fact, especially like you said when you're on social media and stuff, and people saying, "Oh, I think this food is great." It's information overload. And I think in a good way, a lot of people are very passionate about their health and wellness. I feel, at least on my algorithm. So I think people are just so eager to try every little thing, but it might not be what's best. Yeah.
It's like having a bunch of paint brushes and throwing them at the wall and hoping the wall is painted correctly.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree, but I know, I mean, you're just a wealth of knowledge and we just want to poke at you every time so that we can just get a little bit.
Yeah. Also skin. If you break out here, that's all hormones. I'm going to send you a picture. I'm going to text you a picture of my face before I met my dietitian.
Oh my gosh. Man.
I got to lock in, man.
It's so much. It's so much, but I said it in a good way, that especially because these are things you would think doctors would tell you about, but I've never heard
one nutrition class.
You took a nutrition class,
and take one nutrition class in medical school. That's it. I've taken more nutrition classes than a doctor because I have a nutrition the minimum, whatever the other degree is like.
Oh, like associates?
No, so you have the main degree, minor. My minor is brain fog. You see how I just can't my brain. Yeah, I have a minor in nutrition, and I've had more nutrition classes than most doctors.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't even right. So that's the conversation in itself, like just with their curriculum. Yeah, For sure. No, I think this was great, Krystle. I really appreciate it. The time just flew by. We need more time. I know. We just need more time.
An hour.
Yeah, no, seriously.
For real.
No, seriously. No, this has been great. I feel like if anyone has any questions, please let us know. We can try to share them with Krystle. If you have you want to know more about what you talk about.
Facebook and stuff. So like, is there a Facebook page where I can go and like answer?
It's kind of weird because a lot of the times I share this page like on my personal page, or maybe I think Instagram might be the best way. Let me think about it because I want people to have a place to be able to ask stuff. So yeah, let me think about it. Let Deanna and I can think about that and figure out which platform will be best because I definitely think it's worth having. So yeah. But no, we appreciate you so much and thank you everybody for joining who tuned in live today and everyone who of course we just love having you. And yeah, are there ways that people can stay connected with you that if you want them to follow you on your pages or
yes, I'm the most active on TikTok, the Crafty Doula. I talk more about the women's health thing over there.
Okay.
On my TikTok.
Okay, this is TikTok. Cool.
Website to check products. Oh, it's Yuka. It's an app.
Oh yeah. Let me put that. That was YUKA, right?
It's like a little carrot.
Okay.
The picture, it looks like a little carrot.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And we'll make sure we share these on our Instagram and Facebook stuff too, if people can catch it in the comments. But we appreciate you so much, Krystle, and we will see y'all next week. Peace out, y'all. Peace out.